So this one, I mean, first off, this cover. Come on, right? Not all of these covers. Like when we're looking at this is a okay cover for 99. You know, it's pretty cool. Young Obi-Wan there. But this is like, whoa, what's going on?
Cool.
So this is taking place like immediately after the Rising Force. And so this is where basically we're on Bandamere, right? And this mining world, and there's the Off-World Mining Corporation. And you have a lot of interesting people in this, because you have Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, obviously, and Xanatos comes in on this one, and basically he's trying to show at first that he's like a good guy.
Yeah.
And even Qui-Gon, it's like, I can't really like sense any deception, but knows like this has got to be a setup.
Qui-Gon knows something's up.
Yeah. Because isn't Xanatos' whole thing like, where he's like, hey, basically, like, I've been so successful here, like, because he's representing the corporation or
Off-World.
Yeah. And he's like, I've basically been so successful. Look at me, and kind of.
But like in the opening meeting.
Yeah.
With Klata and Sontag.
Look at you.
I don't know how to say their names. Like I said, I make them up. But yeah, when he first he shows up late, so they don't even know who they're meeting.
Yeah.
And then Xanatos walks in, and obviously Qui-Gon knows of him. And yeah, I think he is somewhat trying to, I don't know. I feel like he's honestly just coming in. He's not trying to like show off necessarily. I think he's trying to mess with Qui-Gon. And mess with his brain.
This, I don't feel like, sometimes when the dark side, like when you think of like the OT, right? I feel like the dark side represents like temptation. I feel like with Xanatos, it's like intimidation. Like I don't feel like he's trying to get him to fall to the dark side. I think it's like maybe it's just my interpretation. I feel like it's
question things and take him off his game. Yeah,
because inevitably he wants to take him out. You know, and that's kind of the way I saw that. And then, but yeah, so basically they're investigating like sabotage and corruption that's going on. And Xanatos does have kind of more of a forward role in this, and you're seeing him. Basically, then Obi-Wan is kind of struggling with insecurity during this. I mean, because he hasn't been chosen, and then there's this guy Xanatos in the picture now, who, you know, it's just really, really interesting. But basically, yeah, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, they kind of exposed the plan that Xanatos has, and then Xanatos does. The book kind of ends with Xanatos does escape, but basically
he'll be back.
He's an enemy.
Yep.
Effectively, he's not, like, the deception was unveiled. And then this is the one where I like officially now Obi-Wan is a Padawan.
Yeah, I think at the end, right?
Yeah. And so why don't you talk about like Obi-Wan's character themes in this one, unless I'm missing anything. You're crushing it with the names.
Well, I really like C Tremba. And is this the one where they take their special food? Was that the next one, or was that the first one?
I feel like it's the next one. Okay.
Yeah, I like C Tremba though, and how it's really cool. This relates to Obi-Wan, kind of, but how they're the species. Can you say the name? Arconin.
No, Arconin. Yeah.
Arconin. Their species is always like we. It's never like I. So it's this like we type of thing, and they never really separate. But just this bond that he forms with Obi-Wan. So it kind of, you see this like development even in C Tremba, and this strong friendship build. So that's really cool with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Obi-Wan. We see that he's newly chosen, but still kind of unsure with his place. obviously he's been rejected. So even though he's chosen now, that's always going to be in the back of your mind and probably like cause some level of doubt. And he also feels like overshadowed by Xanatos's confidence and status. But he learns a lot throughout the story, throughout the book. He learns loyalty and to trust in Qui-Gon's. Like, he realizes that he can't trust Qui-Gon, and that Qui-Gon has some experience and he knows kind of what he's doing. And he begins internalizing Jedi discipline rather than just seeking approval. While he's still, even like we just finished book 4, I feel like even in Phantom Menace, I feel like he's still somewhat kind of seeking approval. But it lessens and lessens, I've noticed even in the book. Like, he becomes more confident in kind of who he is. But his growth is very internal here, and he doesn't defeat Xanatos. Obviously, he's the main enemy, but he resists becoming like him, which is huge. And so it's kind of where the first book started. This book picks up in his character development and just takes him further and further in those same themes.
Yeah, and with Qui-Gon, clearly, yeah, and what is cool is it's very thematic, and going from Dave Wolverton, I could look, I just don't want to lean and get all awkward. But going from Dave Wolverton to Jude Watson, it's like, oh man, character, an author change.
I didn't even know. You told me later. I was like, oh, I didn't even pay attention. I didn't even.
Fantastic work. But Jude Watson is amazing. The more you read her writing, you're like, this is great. But it's very thematic, and the themes carry through really strongly. And so Qui-Gon, he is confronted with like basically the failure of a former student of his, and essentially what's interesting at the same time, though, that guilt could have been crushing to him, but he refuses to let it like compromise him
and shape him.
Yeah. And so that's like, you really see the strength of Qui-Gon to where he's not playing into like those internal feelings of guilt and whatever.
Right.
And then you do see his trust in the living force, and even with like calling Obi-Wan Padawan. And I think it's funny because there's not this like huge like formal thing, and then even Obi-Wan's like, yo, you keep calling me that,
Right.
And just the way that plays out is cool. But then the juxtaposition of Qui-Gon and Xanatos, where it's like Xanatos needs control and Qui-Gon has a bunch of restraint. And so I think it is playing into that light versus dark.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at Obi-Wan at 12 and I wish I remembered his name, Bruck or whatever.
Yeah.
The guy from in the first book, kind of that school rival, between the two. Then like the name, the dark rival, then you go into Obi-Wan and Xanatos and you're like, oh, well, this is like that times 1,000. This is like a huge, this is like an intense, serious thing. So then I think Obi-Wan is also kind of seeing like something different, like a very, very intense reality to the world. And that's important.
Do we know Xanatos' age? Has that been revealed at all? Obviously, he's probably younger than Qui-Gon and older than Obi-Wan, but...
No. I mean, nothing has been explicit yet to us. But, yes, and essentially Xanatos, he's interesting. He's kind of an enigma, but he's also... He is sharp. He's charismatic. He's very prideful. He resents the Jedi. Very entitled to have, like, power, control.
He's like cunning too.
Yeah. And it is just crazy. But we also don't see that Xanatos is like a Sith.
Right.
So that's interesting too, because it's not like, oh, here's a secret Sith Lord, right? Like he's essentially just like, hey, this this Jedi who was kind of left unchecked.
Well, because he would have, if he was Sith, he would have been working with Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of a dark fallen Jedi, he's kind of doing his own thing. So yeah, and in this book, I think a lot you get pride versus humility.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting to see this idea of mentorship as well with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. You're starting to see that begin the seeds of that here.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I think it's interesting is like when you're thinking of like what can this teach, right? Like I think that's a big thing with Star Wars. It is very entertaining, but then I think of like, okay, George Lucas wanted this modern mythos. Like, what are some things that you can extract?
Right.
And I think you see it with Xanatos. It's like the darkness in him, I would say, started with that resentment. As it wasn't full blown hatred. Like it started with something smaller,
it became
and
something bigger.
Yeah, it grew into something more serious. I think this makes Qui-Gon a far more fascinating character, especially by the time you hit the Phantom Menace and his interest in Anakin because of his past failure,
right?
And because
he's
it's
been fighting for him to be a Padawan,
And so then, I mean,
so obviously that relationship between Obi-Wan and him healed something. I think, is what we see.
Yep, and there actually is a more backstory to Xanatos in a comic that I want to go through, and so that's something too.
Probably should then.
Yeah, but that is I mean there's some important plot points. We're also trying to like not have everything spoiled in the book, but because essentially too what we kind of feel like with these book discussions and things is that there are some people who've already read it who are interested maybe in the journey of people going through the EU, but then I think there's also a lot of people our age, like kind of the prequel kids, right? Like and maybe even a little younger, where it's like we kind of grew up pre-Disney for sure, and we're kind of like very dissatisfied, or
we grew up with the what is it called?
OT, like the original trilogy.
Yes, I cannot think of the word.
Yeah, because we always want to say Old Testament because
that's not even. I couldn't even think of that word. I was like, what? Then I always mess it up and say they were both blanking in my mind.
But nonetheless, I think there's a lot of people who are interested in the EU, but maybe don't know where to start or feel overwhelmed. And you're like, I want to know more about Qui-Gon. And then you see it's 20 books, right? And then you're like, how am I supposed to do that?
And are some of them hard to come by?
Yeah, they are. If you want to complete it physically, it does get expensive. That's how a lot of the like long series, especially the Scholastic ones I found, it's like there's always like a few that are more expensive. A lot of them are easier to come by, but there's specific ones that are harder. But so with that, we don't want to spoil everything at the same time. We want to hopefully highlight some themes and arcs and give you interest for reading it if you haven't already.